That's it. Who's that gonna say? That's about that. She gets something to do. Ryan Bouton. Ryan Bouton. Burbank.
You went across and watched CDC for a while
Oh,
as a pro state.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I had time, I would have. Yeah. Have some here.
We got it right, so people can see the TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Cause look, she was sitting there, right, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Where's my number?
Oh,
We don't want to lose James. Sometimes. I don't know, I just didn't know, for some reason I thought it was showing skin, but no, we're good. I understand.
Oh, could you unplug and plug it like it's saying something about the battery? Thank you. Yeah, it's charging now. It's up there. Let's see if it looks, you can see better without the light.
Reminds me of being in school, when we used to turn on the lights, so we could watch the. Everybody, if you're as a kid, you're like, oh, that's neat. Okay.
Okay, so we had it. Whoops. Change it.
Not that I know of. Did he call you about anything? No.
You know, I got it over time. Feel like, that, she ain't all that way, and. Got paid, she got paid, she got paid. You got fun. Her name, I have somebody else before you. Her and I were in the academy together. Oh, you name you. Yeah. Yeah, that. Go me. Oh, yeah. The one is that one. Like, it's from different. It's some sort of that. Right, right. So like what? Oh, God. Or. Is that the one we move on? We should say that one.
Horizon. Give it on red.
That one was in the blue.
Oh, yeah. The blue.
So like, you know, like, the one.
You're gonna tell you or not, you pay your. Oh, you know what? I got it. I like that. Hey, now, bro.
I need to do a,
Hey, baby. I keep smelling it in the sky.
And when it happens, it's like this, you like this one, but then you come back with like, oh, back. Hey, what's going on with this one? You got paperwork?
Oh, who is that?
if you have, do you see that, or you just cancel it out, how do you do it? Oh, the one that I did. What is the name? That was the person.
The last one, with the
thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me.
I'll see about
I can actually, I'm gonna splitter, or I could split it and have it on the screen so you can still see everything. So just so you know, so this won't hopefully not be crazy.
At the house, yeah. At the house, maybe we can.
pay for, but I'll say it's your. Was it, did it all have to get one to the third party?
Well, I don't know. That's not what they're not.
It's taken out now. We're looking at, yeah, yeah, tell me that name again. I think once I put it up on.
And And there were people that chose. Like, I just couldn't. Almost like. They never losing, but they can go all the way down here and it just keeps riding. It's, so, these are the best, you just, replace the best. I mean, they just never let you down. And and when you see it again, and then you know that, okay, well, it's time to replace it. But these you can't see, you know. Everything, they're, I mean, they're really good, it's just. These have just always been the best. Mhm. I mean. The shiny thing, that's when you start. Because I'm not.
Thank you. Jefferson County Court, law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session and calls number 24 CCCR 1702. Case of style of state of Texas versus Terrence O'Neill. Let the record reflect that Ms. O'Neill is present in court with her attorney Laura Barrazo. Let the record also reflect that the state is present with assistant prosecutors, attorney Fred Vernon and attorney Farrah Nixon. Let the record also reflect that the jury is not present in the courtroom. At this time, Ms. Bailey, would you please go get the jury?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, please stand. You may be seated. Jefferson County Court of Elementary Schools back in session, cause number 24 CCCR 1702. Case and style of the state of Texas versus Terranisha O'Neill. Let the record reflect that Ms. O'Neill is present in the courtroom with her attorney, Attorney Clark Razzo, state is president of Assistant Criminal District Attorney Fred Vernon, and Attorney Farrah Nixon. Let the record reflect that the jury is now present and seated in the courtroom. State, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
And defense, are you ready?
So you're on.
Okay. Okay, state, you may proceed.
Your Honor, at this time, the state calls Lieutenant Verdine to the stand.
Vernon,
Your Honor.
okay. Quick, somebody push it there. That's good. That's fine.
We're gonna be bouncing between the videos, so I may move it up. So
Yeah, we could do it. Okay.
Your Honor, we're trying to locate him. He's here, but he may be up on the third floor.
Okay.
Right, and they're just ready.
Okay, Officer Vernon, would you please come forward?
Sir.
Officer Vernon, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may put your hand down. You can take the witness stand and adjust the microphone in the chair if you need to. Mr. Vernon, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lieutenant Verdine, would you please, introduce yourself by stating your first and last name for the record?
Yeah, right.
And your first name?
Yeah.
Garrett. Now, Lieutenant Verdine, promise to get the drawer of the truth today, so will you be okay helping us with that?
Sir.
You're a lieutenant with the sheriff's department, is that right?
Yes.
Are you a duly sworn peace officer in the United States and the state of Texas?
I am.
And how long have you worked for the sheriff's department?
10 years in a day.
Congratulations.
Thank
What is your current duty and your roles and responsibilities in the sheriff's department?
So I currently serve as a rank lieutenant. I'm assigned to the Beaumont Division of the Fugitive Warrant.
And what do you do there in the fugitive warrant division?
So our job is to track down and apprehend anyone with an outstanding warrant from a Class B misdemeanor up to a felony one. And Holmes Jefferson County.
Do you have any additional education as far as secondary school or academy?
Yeah, forced to the police academy, and then I was served 4 years in the military, some college, never quite finished that, but and then of course I've got probably about 9 hours of police training. So,
Thank you for your service.
thank you.
On the day of 6/10/2024, were you employed with the same agency that you're currently employed?
Yes.
Were your roles and responsibility back then on 6/10/2024, were they the same or were they different now?
They were the same, the location was different. I was assigned at the time as a sergeant to the Port Arthur division of the same unit, so.
Then you went and worked for the sheriff's department?
Yeah, oh, I was still there at Sheriff's Office. Yeah, we cover all the warrant, services for Jefferson County, so the difference in 24 versus now, was just simply, we kind of split the county into 2 areas. Primary focus being Port Arthur, for one unit and Beaumont for the other, so.
And on 6/10/2024, you were assigned to the Beaumont area?
I was assigned to Port Arthur, and I know it may look a little confusing with, I guess in theory what happened is, or in reality what happened is there was a warrant with an address that was assigned to Port Arthur, or Mid-County. The investigation would have led us to Beaumont.
Understood. So, did you make an arrest on that day at the West End Crossing Apartments? Were you there that day?
Yes,
And is the West End Crossing Jefferson County?
yes.
Okay. Officer Verdine, just behind you there, those are the elements of the offense, and as we talk, each one is met. Would you mind checking that out, checking what's going off as we discuss, if you feel that?
Sure.
It's here. What is anybody? You just come down. Now, until it's been met, I'll ask you a question, and if it's been met, you go and check it out. Okay? So if it's not been met, you don't have to check it. Okay. Now, Officer Verdine, on the day of 6/10/2024, were you wearing a body camera?
Yes.
Did you activate it during that time when you engaged with the defendant suspect who entered the department? Did you engage that body camera activated?
Yes.
And are you a competent operator of that body worn camera?
Yes.
Officer Verdine, I am showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 10. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Did you have a chance to review this?
I did.
And what is this?
That should be my line here.
Yes, sir. And is it a true and accurate copy of the events as they occurred in that day?
Yes.
Did they appear altered in any way when you?
No.
Okay. At this time, the state moves to offer State's Exhibit 10 and tenders to the.
Objection.
Objection, State's Exhibit number 10 will be admitted.
Okay. Officer Verdine, I'm now showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 11. The second part of that, do you recognize this?
Yes.
What is it?
That would be the seconds of camera footage.
Did you have a chance to review this?
Yes.
And was it a true and accurate copy of your body cam as it occurred that day?
Yes.
Did it appear to alter in any way? At this time, the state moves to offer State's Exhibit 11 into evidence.
No objection.
There's no objection, State's Exhibit 11 is admitted.
Now, Officer Verdine, before we jump in and play the videos, I've got some general things I'd like to ask you about. Now, when you arrived on the scene that day on 6/10/2024, who was present? Who was present with you initially when you first arrived?
Deputy Charles Green.
Okay. Now, when you were there, who were you attempting to arrest? Who were you looking for that day?
I believe the subject name was Lester Lewis.
And in your attempt to look for Mr. Lester Lewis, whose apartment did you go to?
To the defendants, to Tanisha. Sorry, oh, I looked at like seven
We have your-
days this morning.
we have
I was
your report?
reviewing warrants this morning. I'm so sorry. I do have my.
And if you can't remember, then you're welcome to, or if you remember, just look up at me once you're done.
Tanisha. I'm sorry. Tanisha O'Neill, but not Tanisha.
So you were looking to arrest Mr. Lester for an outstanding warrant, and you went to Miss O'Neill's apartment. Is that correct? And what's the name of that apartment? Do you recall?
West End Crossing.
Now, it's West End Crossing in Jefferson County, Texas.
It is.
There's a note on there, Jefferson County, Texas. Correct. Now, do you recall the specific apartment number?
I do not.
That's okay.
I know that would be in here as well. 241 C.
And to your knowledge, is that Miss O'Neill's apartment?
Yes, that was my understanding.
Now, how did you know, Mr. Lester would be at Miss O'Neill's specific apartment on that specific day at that specific time? He could have been anywhere else in the world. How did you know? How did your team know?
So, this was, Mr. Lewis was, Deputy Green's investigation. Typically whenever we do investigative, approaches to any kind of situation or any address, we usually have some kind of either a pre-planned meeting, or we have some kind of a phone call, a three-way phone call, or four, how we know we've got, we'll do some kind of a chat where we're discussing what we're about to do, why we're going there. And with this in particular situation, with us being assigned to, specifically mid-county for southern Jefferson County, for us, when we push over into Beaumont, if that's necessary, that usually goes up our chain of command for approval. So this was something that he called me with, stating that his investigation had led him to believe that he was located this apartment with Ms. O'Neill. And I don't remember what he said the relation was, but there was supposed to be some sort of relation there. And that he had done I believe, had done a drive-by of the apartment, and the vehicle was supposed to be there, so.
And did the intelligence pan out? Did it result in a successful arrest?
It did. When we showed up in the area, the vehicle was there. Back. So that's when we made a decision to go ahead and get out and approach them.
Now, without looking at these videos, during your attempt to arrest Mr. Lester, was there a time when you weren't able to do what you need to do to execute the arrest?
Well, we were prevented from entering the residence, to start with, or at least looking to see if he was in there.
Mhm.
We were met with a lot of uncooperative behavior, and so, there's times we go to addresses where the person we're looking for may not be there. They may be at a store, they may be at work or something along those lines, and typically it's a pretty simple deal. Hey, this is why we're here. You might as well take a look and see if they're in your residence. And we were having a lot of resistance on that, especially with the proof we had that he was there. So.
Okay. Do you recall Miss O'Neill, what she looked like, and kind of ask her person, if you saw her, would you recognize her? If Miss O'Neill's present in the room, will you please identify her?
Yeah, she's sitting right there competing with her.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Now, was Mr. Lester arrested and transported subsequent to the resistance that you described and the blocking? Was he arrested on that same day when you and your team received resistance from Ms. O'Neill?
On the same day, yes.
Now specifically, when you arrested fugitive, Mr. Lester, was he alone or was he with someone that day?
No, he was accompanied by someone.
He was accompanied by Miss Louise. Where were they when they were arrested?
In a breezeway, the same apartment building that she, or that her residence was in.
Now, between the time that you first attempted to get in and find Mr. Lester, but were obstructed or I got that resistance in your words. What happened after that? Did y'all leave or what happened after y'all were unsuccessful in being able to locate him the first time you entered the apartment?
So we had some, we kind of checked around the area of, Deputy Ariola got on the radio and advised us that he had been met by a maintenance man or some kind of apartment employee, around the backside of her building. And that he stated he saw a male suspect or a male subject rather, jump out of a window.
I'm gonna have to object to that. That testimony is in contravention of the testimony given by Deputy Green and the maintenance man. The maintenance man did not see Lester jump out of the window. So that's in contravention to the evidence. It's a mischaracterization of the evidence that's already
You
been
actually
presented.
suspend.
Lieutenant Verdine, during your investigation at that time, did you come to learn that Mr. Lester had jumped from the window?
Yes, I know we met with an employee there, so, whoever the employee was, somehow there was a male subject that had jumped from the window. And we were advised of that. I said it for.
All right, at this time, I ask permission to publish.
You have permission to publish.
Is there any way we could turn the TV just a little bit to the, there we go. Kind of like it was yesterday. That's perfect. Thank you.
Officer Verdine. Who was that?
Miss O'Neill.
That's the defendant. Would you mind checking that box there off the elements if you agree that's the defendant? Now, Officer Verdine, if we can, you can come around here and identify this date for us.
Looks like June 10th, 2024.
Yes, sir. And if you would, check that next box off for us.
This is, you will just know, it's like all of the, I understand, but I don't see it. And you not, wow, You have any one? Yes, I do. Where is it at? It's my son, like that. Okay. My supervisor's right. Check out here as well. That's the news. Okay.
Officer Verdine, did you hear who Officer Green told Miss O'Neill was on that arrest warrant?
Yes, sir, Lester Lewis.
So at that point, this was the defendant on notice that there was believed to be a fugitive living in her home.
Yes.
We're gonna proceed and watch the rest of the video here. Okay.
Well, I'm looking for you. What would your name be on there?
Like I said, too.
Then go put your dog out. Leave that door open so we can see in there.
Officer Verdine, what did you ask Miss O'Neill to do?
To leave the door open so we can see inside.
That door look open to you?
No,
Did she comply with what you asked her to do? Did that obstruct or interfere with or hinder your ability to enter that home and make your arrest? Did anybody force her to do that from your knowledge?
No.
If you would, if you feel that next box is checked off, then you go ahead and check it off. Yes, sir. If you feel it is. And what's Officer Green doing here?
he's trying to keep the door from closing.
Was he successful at that?
Not at that moment.
It was.
Careful, Rick, careful, careful, careful.
I can close outside. So I can close the door, I'm not.
You can leave a gap open so we can make sure that we're safe.
He's going to run out.
Can I go get out of that little gap?
I'm gonna get up there, I'm not there.
Playing around with bull crap.
Okay. No, at this point, she's gone away. She's closed. She had closed the door, and now she's saying she's going to go put her dog away. Is that correct? Did she need to close that door to put her dog away? Because she had put that dog away and left the door cracked as you asked her to do. Now, why'd y'all want her to leave the door cracked so you could? Why'd you want her to leave that door cracked?
It gives us an angle to see what's going on in there, if she's retrieving a gun, or if there's someone else in that house retrieving some kind of weapon. It's simply for safety.
Okay. Now, when she closed that door and left that tiny little, could you see what was going on in there?
See an angle.
Okay.
But at least it also allows us to hear a little better,
Mhm.
for things of that nature. So, and oftentimes when this kind of situation arises, of course, I know each one is different, but oftentimes when this, things through training and experience, and you see this door closes, it locks, and then the fugitive is hidden or runs, and we're never able to find them from that residence. So,
But you weren't able to see anything else that was going on
no.
back there. Now, if she had held the door open like you asked, could he picked his head around and saw, make sure everything was safe, correct?
Correct.
But he couldn't do that because why couldn't he do that? Why couldn't he stick his head in there and see what's going on?
So how like that?
Did that conceal what was going on inside that apartment for me? Now, at this point, correct me if I'm wrong here, but she's agreed to leave it a little cracked in the door Okay, and she's going to secure the dog at this point.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see how long she makes you wait. First question for you is, do you know about how long there's a timestamp there? And I'll tell you that that timestamp, when she first left the door open, was about 4:53. And you've asked this officer, what did you ask him to do? What's he doing now?
Bureau,
Mhm.
going to the back of the building.
Why is he doing that?
With it being a two-story building, you kind of lessen your chances of someone maybe escaping from that area. But it's definitely not uncommon. It's happened. And so, when she starts trying to conceal and prevent us from entering that residence, that was the first thing that entered my head, was that he was bold enough to maybe try to exit from the second story window. So that's where he's hurrying off to.
So you were concerned that someone might have been scurrying out the back window?
Correct.
Who were you concerned might have been scurrying out the back window?
Mr. Lewis.
The person that you had the arrest warrant for, is
Right.
that correct? Okay. And so now he's heading around the backside to secure that window, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we were timestamped here at 4:53 earlier, it's now 5:16. I want to know, I want to ask you how long this delay is that she's caused to you all. We'll stop once you get in. The timestamp reads 5:22. So if you could calculate how long between 4:53 and 4:22, how many seconds?
31 seconds.
31 seconds. Who caused that 31 seconds second delay?
I'm assuming.
Now let me ask you, is that long enough for someone to jump out of a window?
Absolutely.
Now, if she hadn't done that, would you have been able to observe and kind of, again, peek like you said earlier, observe what was going in there to prevent that?
Yes, and if I can elaborate just a little bit on that. If I remember correctly, when that door opens, if the door to her bedroom is open, you can pretty well see straight through the back of that.
All right, well, let's take a look at that.
All that. He's not in here.
What did Officer Green just say to you?
He's here.
And who was he? How did you interpret that? He, what did that mean? Who's
He
he?
was talking to Mr. Lewis.
So he saw something in there, according to how you interpret his words, that made him believe
Correct.
that Mr. Lewis was in there. Is that right? And we're gonna come back to this. We're gonna go back to one of the videos that's been entered into evidence, Mr. Green's video, and we're gonna see the front side of his body cam, but we'll stay here, we'll move forward, we'll come back.
But also here, it's communications. No. Can you put me in the bathroom, please? Can you give me a second? You trying to sit off since you being so damn rude. I can be fucking hot for I want. This is my fucking problem. Come in. I'm trying to sit off since you being so damn rude. I can be fucking hot for I want.
Now, Officer Burdine, did Miss O'Neill ever once deny that Mr. Lester was staying with her?
No.
This is my fucking problem. Come in. Nobody over here. You been staying here. Why? Does that matter? Why? Nobody over here. You been.
Mr. Verdine, what does Officer Green appear to be doing there?
Looking out the window.
Looking out the, why would he, what, in your opinion, why does an officer look out the window when they're coming into a room, in your opinion, based on your training experience?
See if somebody else is out there, or see if somebody exited from there.
Is there a screen on that there window?
No, sir.
Officer Verdine, how many beds do you see there on that floor?
I'm sorry.
How many beds do you see there on that, in that apartment room, in our bedroom?
From where I'm looking, I see one.
If you can come a little closer. And I can play it through if you want to better look at it.
Yeah, that would be good, because if we where it moves.
Nobody over here. You been staying here. Why? Does that matter? Why do you think we're here? Why does it matter? Because he has a warrant. You mean all of it?
It looked a lot shorter from two, yeah, so it appeared to be two.
Does that look like a red mattress there?
Yes, sir.
So one full bed, and one red mattress.
Yes, sir.
Now, Officer Verdine, there were some words that the defendant had for you. I think it was, she said, you told her that she was rude and she had an attitude problem. Is that an accurate exchange of what y'all had, or would you like to hear it again?
That's pretty accurate.
Now, when y'all first got to that apartment, before she held the door closed, when it was first talking, what was her demeanor like?
At the doorway,
At the very first time, before y'all entered the apartment, what was her demeanor like, the very first interaction?
very evasive, kind of, evading direct answers and, cooperative.
Did she curse at you? Did she curse at you when y'all first opened first had the interaction, y'all introduce yourself?
Yes.
And all the way throughout this exchange, through the point she was arrested, was she still cursing at you the entire time?
Yes.
Now, Officer Verdine, will you come please and tell us what time, the date and time that this ends, if you can't see it?
Looks like, 1,439 hours and 53 seconds.
Yes, sir. And so what time is that in?
2:39.
2:39 p.m.?
Yes.
And what's the date there?
6/10 of 2024.
Okay. So 2:39 p.m., that's when that first body video started. Okay. Now, what did you do after you left at 2:39? So at 2:40, what did you do next? What did you and you guys do next?
I believe it's when, we were advised looking at our report, that's when we were advised, by one of the employees that he had been looking at what I've got here, was that we left the residence, walked downstairs, where we met with another employee of the multifamily, like you stated. Lewis was at the residence and showed us his green and colored Toyota passenger car. He was also advised that we were advised that a resident told the employee that he saw Mr. Lewis walking eastbound on Cruisman Road towards Field Club.
Okay, as far as operationally, what do you recall that you guys did as a team operationally, if anything?
So when we left there, if I recall correctly, we went to the backside of the building to meet with Deputy Carroll.
Okay, and then after that, after y'all finished concluding interviewing and securing the area, what did you do next?
I went around the area to check and see if I could locate Miss O'Neill and the suspect.
Could you locate them at that time?
Not immediately.
And then what'd you do when you realized, hey, we can't immediately locate them? What'd y'all do?
Conducted surveillance
And why did you conduct surveillance?
because I still had a belief that Mr. Lewis was in the area, due to the time lapse wasn't great. So
Now, how did you know he might have been in the area? What did you rely on? How did you know he would be in the area still?
based off of the statements provided by the employee of the department.
Permission to publish State's Exhibit 11, Your Honor?
Yes, you may publish.
Now, Officer Verdon, before we go and play that video, you'll read those last two elements.
Oh.
Yes.
Did you want it to? Okay.
Officer Verdon, if you'll take a gander at those two elements. Is Mr. Lester a different person from Mrs. O'Neill? And Lieutenant Verdine, based on what you saw in your experience there on 6/10/2024, and on the body cam footage there, is it your belief that Miss O'Neill was harboring or concealing when she closed that door that day?
Yes.
Then you may check that box if you so believe. Thank you, sir. You will return to your seat. We're going to continue with the rest of the discussion. Officer Verdine, what day is this showing on your body worn camera this video was recorded on?
June 10th, 2024.
Is that the same day when y'all were trying to get into her apartment, y'all were hindered? Is that the same day, 6/10/2024? So this is the same day, okay? Now, where do you know where you are here? Do you know where you are here?
No, not looking at it. I know the area, but not exactly. Okay, that's the apartment complex.
Okay. So you're at the same apartment complex. Okay. Now, that's the exact same day and same apartment complex, you said? Okay. What time is recorded here, timestamps on this here video?
3:13 p.m.
Okay. And the other video concluded at, from your prior statement, was about 2:39 p.m. What's the difference between 2:39 and 3:13 p.m.? About how many minutes is that? That is correct. That is correct. Right, so about 34 minutes had passed from the time when she obstructed, the original attempt to get in and detain or arrest Mr. Lester in this video here. Is that right? Is that accurate? 34 minutes. Okay. And that would have been 34 minutes after Mr. Lester would have, of what you guys came to understand, your team came to understand, jumped from the backside of the window. Is that right? 34 minutes later. Okay. Officer Verdine, who is that?
Mr. Lewis.
What's he wearing there? Could you tell us what he's wearing?
Looks white and black striped, like pajama style pants.
Some black and white striped pajama pants?
Yes.
Does he have on shoes there?
Not that I can see.
Well, if you, I want you to be certain, if you would mind, because the ladies and gentlemen of the jury need to know.
No, he's not.
So you're walking here about 35 minutes at this point, 1 minute past, 35 minutes later after the first attempt, and then you walk around and you see Mr. Lewis, Lester, the man that you all were trying to arrest. That is that right?
Correct.
And he's got on pajamas, no shoes, and no shirt. Is that right? We can agree he's half naked, correct?
Correct.
What floor is Miss O'Neill's apartment on?
Second floor.
So is it safe to say he was on the, well, somehow got to the first floor with no shoes on, no shirt, and half naked?
Yes.
Now, how, do you know, at this time, do you know how far away that is from her, specifically Miss O'Neill's apartment?
No, not without looking at, have like a map layout for the apartment, complex itself, but I know when we initially came in, his car was located on that back, parking area that you can see here on the camera. So I think it's either that stair set or the one down, but
So he's on the,
same building.
so he's on the opposite side from his vehicle,
Correct.
okay? Half naked,
Correct.
with no shoes. Also, Verdine, do you walk around your neighborhood half naked with no shoes?
I don't walk around my house without shoes on, so.
Do you walk around your neighborhood with your shirt off and your shoes off? When you have your pajamas in your pajamas on, your shoes off, and your shirt off, what are you typically doing at that time?
Probably go to sleep or close to it.
In your home?
Yes, sir.
Not on the first floor,
No, sir, not in public.
20, 30 yards away from your
Right.
vehicle. Where do you believe Mr. Lister came from? Dressed that way.
His residence.
Okay.
Lieutenant Vardine, who's standing with Mr. Lester?
Miss O'Neill.
Do you believe that was a coincidence?
No, sir.
About 35 minutes passed since y'all first tried to get inside of her house about this time, is that correct? And now, and when you asked her, when y'all were trying to get her apartment, what is she, and you asked her, do you know where he's at? Does he live here? What was her, do you remember her response?
He's not.
He's not here. He's not here. 34 minutes later, what happens?
It's back at the apartment complex.
Half naked? Now, what does your common sense tell you? Was this a coincidence? For them two to link up just 35 minutes later, do you believe that was a coincidence?
So there's not a whole lot of coincidences in this job.
Do you believe that was intentional?
Yes,
Do you believe that was coordinated?
yes.
Pass the witness.
Mr. Barraza?
Your Honor. Good afternoon, Lieutenant. I'm gonna back this up. Were you the officer or the law enforcement officer that arrested Mr. Lewis?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever question Mr. Lewis after this day?
No, ma'am.
Were you aware that Mr. Lewis had friends that resided in this apartment complex?
No, I was not.
Did anybody, well, let me ask, did you ever go back to the apartment complex to interview any of potential friends of Mr. Lewis's that resided in this apartment complex?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Well, do you think it's possible that he could have been staying at one of those friends' apartments on this day in question?
No, not dating question, no. We also had some confirmation from apartment management that he was staying at that location.
Well, but my question was, if you were aware that he had friends that resided there, and your response was no, right?
Right.
So you don't think that's a possibility that that's where he was?
I think if it's a possibility, it's extremely might be one.
Is it safe to say, and we've got video of the other officers that testified, body camera footage, is it safe to say that when you and Officer Green and Officer Areola were in the back of Miss O'Neill's residence, that neither of you could determine whether or not someone had jumped from that window?
I don't know that determining, I mean, you might need to rephrase that question a little bit for me, because I think that there was enough back there to lead us to at least say, you know, what's going on with this. There could be, I do remember that there was several windows leading up to her window and then going past her window that had screens still attached, leaving hers in the middle of that area, being the only one without a screen, as well as the blinds being pulled up. And so the rest of them, the blinds were down, the screens were attached. Now, to go forward in that, there was a small patch of dirt underneath the window
Mhm.
that we didn't see imprints on. But to look at those, I remember one of them looking at dirt saying they didn't see tracks or something along those lines. Typically if you jump out of not that I have a lot of experience jumping out of second floor windows, but if you were to jump out of a window, I would imagine you would go straight down. You'd probably jump out some to gain some distance. So past that, a little small, maybe 18 inches of dirt was grass. I don't imagine you're gonna find a whole lot of track marks in there, and not to be facetious in any way, but we are not gifted foot trackers by any stretch of the imagination. So that's not something we tend to usually lend towards our investigation. It's foot marks or something, unless there's beat down tall grass or something along those lines, and that wasn't gonna be found there.
But it could not be determined. Do you recall that?
No, but I believe it led to suspicion.
And in fact, do you recall Officer Areola stating that, you know, I don't know, and everybody just kind of agreeing? You just didn't know, couldn't tell, right?
No, I don't recall that, but it must have been on his body camera, but no, I don't recall that.
Okay, and you don't recall any other window on the back of that apartment complex on that side that was missing a screen other than hers?
I don't recall it except for not on the second floor.
Okay. this was a hot summer day, right? And going back to your earlier testimony where you're only gonna be wearing pajamas when it's time for bed. You would agree with me, sometimes people wear pajamas during the day, just to lounge around, right? Without shoes on. Isn't that something that people do on a regular basis?
In their home, yes.
Okay. And does it make sense that if a person is aware that there are 3 different police officers looking for him, that he would return to the area where you were?
Well, no disrespect, but it happens all the time.
Okay. But if what you're saying and what the state is trying to have this jury believe, that Miss O'Neill was aware of where he was or knew his location, and she was alerting him, do you think that he would come right there to where all the officers were? Does that make sense?
No, I believe that they thought we left because all 3 of our cars did exit that facility. And so, and if I remember correctly, one of the 2 deputies, actually went around to another side of the complex, but not in view there. So we went out the gate, circled around, which is pretty typical behavior for us, to show that we're leaving. And then we set up in other locations.
Okay. And who was it that witnessed Miss O'Neill walk across the street?
That was Deputy Green.
And you said that from the time that you left her apartment until Mr. Lester was apprehended in the breezeway with Miss O'Neill, that it was approximately 31 minutes that had passed?
I believe it's not there.
Right. And so judging from the distance of the apartment complex to the Express Mart where she went across the street, which is in the same shopping center as World Gym.
Yeah.
How long do you think it would have taken her to go over there, come back with groceries?
Around that time.
Okay.
Wouldn't take very long.
So if she was coming back with the groceries and Mr. Lewis was in the breezeway because he had been visiting another resident, I mean, isn't that plausible that they ran into each other as she was coming back?
Well, if he was visiting.
Or she would look.
Objection, Your Honor. She's asking him about something, no knowledge of it.
Your Honor, I'm asking if it's possible.
Objection overruled.
Is it possible?
If the person he was visiting didn't have an air conditioner, maybe because he's pretty sweaty.
Okay, but what I'm getting at though is the state is trying to prove that Miss O'Neill was hindering his apprehension, and so that would have meant that she was in communication with him, right?
Right,
And would have known where he was, right?
correct.
And so the question is, if she was able to go across the street by herself, she was seen coming back across the street by herself, and it took about the same amount of time as it took from the time that she left until he was apprehended. Isn't it possible that when she returned, that there was a meeting, not planned, but there they are, and he knows where she is, and he was somewhere else at another apartment? Is that not plausible?
My answer to that is no, not given the totality of those circumstances.
Did she have a phone?
She did.
Did you look at her phone?
I did not, because I didn't have a warrant to do so.
Could you have gotten a warrant after she was arrested?
Investigators could. That's not something we typically do on a standard charge like this, at least for the warrant.
But it would prove that she was communicating with him, right?
Possibly.
Because there really was no evidence that he was in that apartment whenever you got there, right?
There was some things that were observed that led to some concrete suspicion or reasonable suspicion that there was another person living in that apartment with her.
That wasn't my question, I'm talking about that exact day, that exact time, when you went there to arrest him. There really was no proof that he was there at that time, was there?
No. I
Okay,
wouldn't say there was proof that we would put in evidence.
so then wouldn't the next step, when you're charging someone with hindering apprehension, is to see if she's alerting him or notifying him or communicating with him to warn him? Wouldn't that be the logical next step in the investigation to prove this, since she was arrested and taken into custody?
Yes, well, at the same time, she also hindered us from going in the home in a very short amount of time in a window that was not secured by any kind of blinds or curtains or screens, the only one of which evidence also leading to someone seeing a man run across the roadway.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You were there on the scene. You were told about this man that lived there, that his whereabouts could have easily been ascertained. Did you go and interview that person and get his statement?
No, because the most immediate situation was to apprehend the suspect.
So let's just arrest Miss O'Neill, take her to jail, but let's not verify what was being said. That would lead to her arrest, right?
So these things are made on probable cause. Yes, so there was probable cause to believe that that happened. As the investigation went on, and when it goes up to investigators, that's where their job kind of goes into, kind of takes our spot and it goes, to their side of the house.
You were angry with Miss O'Neill that day, weren't you?
I don't think anger is the proper terminology.
Oh, what would you call it?
Well, there's frustration. I think that anytime somebody is blatantly rude to another individual, it's a little frustrating. But as far as, I definitely wouldn't use the word angry by any stretch.
Lieutenant, is it normal for a United States citizen who expects to have a reasonable expectation of privacy and security in their home, have 3 officers show up unexpectedly, banging on their door, demanding to be let in and be given commands? Is that normal for a person to experience?
For a normal law-abiding citizen, no, man, it's not.
Okay, so just because she responded that way, you don't know if it was because of her surprise of what was going on. She didn't expect this. I mean, how could you tell that she did?
I've been doing this for a while, and typical reactions to someone who's not doing the wrong things are not the same reactions that she was provided to us.
Now, on the video that's already been admitted in evidence, and I'm sorry, I don't know the actual number because they're not here for me to reference. But it's deputy or Officer Ariola's video. There was a point where he walks around the building to where you're standing with the maintenance man, and all three of you were kind of congregating there, and you make a statement, there's no way. There's no way. Do you remember making that statement? After discussing someone jumping out of the window?
No, but I can see you making that statement, more along the lines of, like, there's no way somebody in the right mind would jump out of that window, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It happens to us more than often. And so, again, you look at those things and it's like, it's one of those disbelief we should have, in theory, gone to the back when it all started. But again, you like to think that someone's not illogical enough to jump out of the second floor window.
Okay, and that would have been State's Exhibit number 2 that I'm referring to. Do you have a pretty good knowledge of distance, gauging distance of things?
I think so.
So can you estimate how many feet it was between the front door and the window of where Mr. Lewis allegedly jumped out of?
40 feet, somewhere around there.
This is a small apartment, right? So within that short period of time and it being relatively close, and the floors were bare too, wouldn't you hear somebody trying to get out of the window and, removing the screen and, I mean, and try to climb up and jump out? I mean, wouldn't you hear something? Wouldn't you hear scuffling? Wouldn't you hear people moving, rushing, running? Wouldn't you hear some sort of noise that indicated that somebody was trying to get out of there?
Well, not necessarily, well, maybe, but not being able to decipher that noise is a different kind of situation. And I don't know that he actually removed the screen at that time or if it was already removed. I'm not trying to speculate to when it was removed. However, she was also trying to catch her dog or doing those things and locking or shutting that door where she put the dog in the room. In the meantime, we were also, outside discussing things with each other, and I think, that's when the girl went away. So there was a lot of movement and noise going on our side and hers.
What kind of cars did you and Officer Ariola arrive in? Were they marked or unmarked?
They were unmarked black Explorers, I believe we had both was something at the time.
Did you have the lights activated?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have personal knowledge of how often Mr. Lewis stayed at Miss O'Neill's apartment?
No, I wouldn't have had knowledge of that, given it wasn't my actual investigation, so.
So you don't know if he was actually living there versus staying there occasionally?
We were told, or at least from what
And
I.
I'm going to object to the hearsay. Do you have any personal knowledge?
No, no.
The initial investigation into Mr. Lewis's whereabouts started in Port Arthur. Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah, so, and that's a little more simplistic than, whenever these warrants are assigned, it could be an address he provided at the jail or for booking, or it could be something that's on his driver's license or something that was previously known even 10 years ago, and just the last known address. When the warrant's issued, if that's what the court has, that's where they're issuing it. So it doesn't really confirm where they're at. That's where the investigations come into play.
Did you happen to see his driver's license whenever he was arrested?
No, I don't think I ever looked at the drug test. That
Okay.
would that'd be great.
But whatever Deputy Green found out regarding his whereabouts, it began with a Port Arthur address, right?
Correct.
And you don't know anything further than what you've already testified to. You don't know if that's where he normally resides. You don't know if he has a place there in his own name that he's leasing. You don't have any of that information, right?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right. No further questions.
Vern? Alright, well, you can start. What we're gonna do, we're gonna take a 5 minute, well, we're gonna take a break. And, so the court will be in recess. Everyone please stand as the jury is supporting. Or be recess. You.
Yes.
You said that.
Bad dog, no.
Oh, okay, I know who Keith David is.
all.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was his name.
Yeah.
I like him, he's good.
We all.
Very good.
It's airing
Yes.
soon.
Oh,
It's on YouTube.
Hmm.
Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. Ms. Bennett, if you can get the jury. Make sure they all got, everyone please stand as a jury and just into the courtroom. May be seated. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session in cause number 24 CCCR 1702. Case the style of the state of Texas versus Terrence O'Neill. Let the record reflect that Ms. O'Neill is present in court with her Attorney Laura Roscoe, State is present with Assistant Criminal District Attorneys, Attorney Fred Vernon, and Attorney Farrah Nixon. Let the record reflect that the jury is now present and seated in the courtroom. Mr. Vernon, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Verdine, you were asked, basically about, the suspect, returning, Mr. Lester returning to the apartment complex. And you stated that was normal. Can you explain where you learned that that's normal for someone to return back to where they would have escaped from?
Yeah, we've seen it several times, especially if that's the place they're residing. In particular, if it's somewhere that's not in their normal dwelling area. So I guess an example in this case would be Mr. Lewis typically residing in Port Arthur area. At least my assumption, that's where he had been residing, and now he's in Beaumont. So him leaving the area, coming back to the place where he feels more comfortable, and trying to seek shelter again. And it was June, so we know Texas heat in June, not fun to be outside. So when we see that often, you see people that are concealed, whether we are able to access the residence or not. We may leave the location and they'll walk out. They'll try to get into a car. They'll have someone come pick them up. Or we've seen people again run from us in vehicle pursuits. They get out. The first direction they're running to is towards home. It's a very common situation in law enforcement.
And people don't typically return to somewhere they've never been, do they?
Right.
Now, you mentioned earlier as well that you said y'all were tracking Mr. Lester in Port Arthur, right?
That was the original assumption.
But there was information that led y'all to Beaumont? Okay. Intelligence. Now, you testified earlier that you didn't search the defendant's cell phone after you.
Correct.
Now, to search her cell phone, would you have to have a warrant for that?
Yes, unless you provide consent. But
Now, if you search it without a warrant, that's a violation of her constitutional rights.
correct.
And you didn't have a warrant in this case.
No.
What was your responsibility to seize her cell phone on that day on 6/10/2024?
No.
What was your responsibility that day?
To arrest Mr. Lewis.
And you did that, right? Now, there were some other things that you could have done, but I'm just gonna ask you, did you hire a dog whisperer to talk to the dog to see whether he knew what was going on?
No.
Now, on cross-examination, you were asked about knocking on all the other doors in the apartment to aid in your investigation. Do you know how many doors are in that apartment?
No. Inside our residence.
How many in that apartment complex?
No.
Well, we know there had to be at least 200 because our apartment number is 200 something.
There's a lot.
Do you think the taxpayers would be happy to spend all, after you catch the guy, you then go knock on all those doors?
No.
Was that efficient time of your use? I mean, efficient use of your time?
No.
How many doors did you knock on that day?
Well,
And how many arrests did you make that day?
2.
And you made those arrests after you knocked on how many doors?
Well,
Now, you testified earlier that there was no proof on cross-examination. There was no proof that he was there in that apartment that day. So I'm gonna ask you a few things and you just tell me if this is proof or no. When Officer Green was on that video there and he turned around and looked at you and said, "He's here." Was that proof that he was there? Was that proof to you?
that was, I think that was a very, concrete statement from a seasoned police officer.
And you relied on that statement.
Yes.
Did you believe that Mr. Lester was there after he made that statement to you?
Yes.
And you testified earlier you saw 2 beds in there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that proof that there's cause that there might be 2 people living in there?
I'm not sure on on the bed, the second bed, the red one, whether that was being utilized for human, dwelling or not, or whether it was something for the dog. However, that bed was plenty large enough for 2 people to be sleeping in.
Fair enough. Now, you also testified that there was a car, and you collected your intelligence as a result of investigation, that there was a car there.
Yes.
And did your intelligence tell you who drove that car there?
Yes.
Who did your intelligence tell you drove that car there?
Mr. Lewis.
Did you say that that's proof that Mr. Lester was there in the apartment?
Yes.
You also testified earlier under cross, you said that the apartment complex gave you information that Mr. Lester was there.
Correct.
Would you say that's proof?
Especially when the management pointed to that exact apartment.
So we can agree that was proof.
Yes.
Now, we can also agree that knocking on someone's front door like that, do y'all know what's behind that door?
No.
Would you agree that that's dangerous?
Yes.
I think Mr. Ariola pulled his gun at one point when the defendant closed the door off and concealed the view, right?
Yes.
You're a lieutenant, correct? Would you put their life in jeopardy in a dangerous situation if you weren't fairly sure that Mr. Lester was living there?
No.
So you did that because how did you feel? What did you feel? What level of confidence did you feel that he was in that house that day?
I would say I was pretty well close to 100% certain he was in there.
And that's why you're willing to risk your man's safety and injury, life and safety to go in that door,
Right.
to do your job. Here, you said you came to earlier on when I was directing you earlier. You said that you came to learn as a result of your investigation that Mr. Lester jumped out of the backside of that window. Which point in your investigation did you learn, without saying who it was or getting into that? At which point in your investigation, where were you when you learned that? Okay, about midway through the investigation. Were you outside? Were you inside? Where were you at?
We were outside.
But you did come to learn That's,
Correct.
okay. Would you say that that's proof that Mr. Lester was there?
Yes.
In totality of all of the circumstances, everything we just talked about just now, that body of work, including the investigation, would you say that that's, in totality, is proof that Mr. Lester was there?
Yes, I think that's the more accurate version, is that the totality of the things that we learned pointed to the proof.
And did you make an arrest that day?
Yes.
Why did you arrest Miss O'Neill? Well, excuse me, not, why, do you know why your officer arrested Miss O'Neill?
Well, I placed the handcuffs on her of the case, and I arrested her because the totality of the circumstances pointed to the reason for probable cause to believe that she had hindered us. And at that point concealed him and allowed him a chance to evade us, on that day.
On cross, it was mentioned that, with regard to Miss O'Neill's demeanor and foul language towards you, that if someone knocked on your door, you would be a little. Is it normal based on your experience, for people to harbor fugitives in their home?
Normal? No, it happens in my specific unit, regularly, but no, it's not normal.
And her responses to you, when y'all knocked on the door from being inside, did that indicate anything to you?
Yeah, the immediate evasive and defensive, contact that we have with her, is typically a pretty good indicator that we're on the right track.
And based on your experience, her cursing and blocking the door and all that stuff, that indicated to you that you're on the right track to doing what?
To finding our fugitive.
Now, on cross-examination, by Mrs. Laurie, you stated, in the body cam footage, you said that you stated, "No way," when you found out that he had jumped from the outside the window. Have you ever said, "Oh, saw somebody do something," you said, "You're crazy"? Have you heard this term?
Yes.
Does that actually mean, when someone makes that reference, that jargon, does that actually mean someone's crazy?
No.
Why does it mean that they're crazy? You say, "Oh, you're crazy," or "That's crazy"?
Well, it's just typically not normal behavior.
Okay, and so when someone when they say, "Oh, no way," what is that conveying? When you say, "Oh, no way,"
I mean, for me, it's a little bit more of amazement at that point,
so you use a phrase like that to communicate amazement or shock.
Yeah.
So even if you saw with your own two eyes, you would say, "No way," because you're shocked. Same way as if you saw somebody who's funny. That's crazy.
Seen Michael Jordan dunk a basketball from the free throw line. No way. It happened.
Yeah. Now, you said you had no personal knowledge in of yourself that Mr. Lester was living there. Is that right?
Correct.
But did you acquire knowledge as a result of your investigative intelligence and surveillance?
Deputy Green did, on preliminary, and then we gained more as that investigation went on. Yes.
But you were the lieutenant. You're over Officer Green's heads, correct? And so you had to make a call at some point to say, "This is actionable"?
Yes.
So based on his investigation, you felt comfortable, even though you didn't have personal knowledge, you felt comfortable you had acquired knowledge necessary to make that call, correct? Now, your investigative intelligence that you accumulated over time, Mr. Green, Officer Green, where did it say Mr. Lester was living?
I don't recall that. I do, or at least let me rephrase this. I don't recall that at the time. I don't, you know,
Let me rephrase my
yeah,
question.
please.
Where did it say he was that day?
Oh, that day, he was at this apartment. Yes, I'm sorry, essentially.
Did your investigative intelligence tell you he might be at a friend's house? Did his investigative intelligence tell you, oh, you might be sleeping in a dumpster, you might be sleeping in a dumpster? Did your investigative intelligence say, oh, he might be in apartment 101? No. Where did your investigative intelligence tell you Mr. Lester was?
At Miss O'Neill's apartment.
And that was the door that you knocked on, right? And you got your arrest, is that correct? After you knocked on that door, is that right? Did your investigative intelligence tell you he might be with a friend?
No.
Did they tell you he might be laying next to a tree with a dog? Did they tell you he might be with Goosey the pig? Who did they tell you? Who's your intelligence tell you he was with?
With Miss O'Neill in that apartment.
Now earlier, as we were going through your video, you made those check marks there on that board. You're under oath. Was that an honest representation from your personal belief and knowledge based on what you know of this case?
Yes.
State passes the witness.
Okay,
No further questions, Your Honor.
okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Officer Burbank, you're excused. I just must inform you that you currently, the rule has been invoked.
Yes, sir.
And what that basically means, you cannot talk to anyone about your testimony unless you talk to the attorneys.
Yes, sir.
You cannot read any reports of or comments on the testimony or evidence in this case. If you violate this rule, you're subject to being held in contempt of court.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're free to go.
Thank you,
You
Judge.
have a blessed day. State, you can call your next witness.
The state rests at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Barraza?
Defense rest, Your Honor.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the state and the defense have rested their cases. And so at this time, we have to have what is called a charge conference. Court is gonna prepare a charge and submit the charge to both the state and the defense. And we'll have a conference, and then once we finish with the charge conference, then we will proceed with the reading of the charge and the closing arguments. Okay? So at this time, everyone please stand as the jury exits the courtroom. You may be seated.